What's up, y'all? It's your girl Megan Rochell, and I'm kicking it with the progress report. You know we making progress.
The progress report.
It's your girl Lala Shepherd checking in. This is the progress report.
Boss Britt the most lit.
Hey, it's your girl DJ Excel.
DJ J Star.
Okay, well we have a very special guest tonight in the building. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Who are you?
What's up, everybody? I am Megan Rochell, aka Meg Rock the Empress.
Okay, that's what's up. Okay, where you from?
Originally New York.
New York. What part?
Brooklyn.
Okay, that's what's up.
Water.
Best I do or die.
Best I do or die. I lived in Queens for a year, so that kind of counts. You know what I mean? Kind of close by, just a little bit, just a tad. You know what I mean? But talk about Brooklyn though.
Brooklyn. Brooklyn is a very historical place for a lot of musicians. Brooklyn is where I discovered that I wanted to be a musician. I grew up singing in the church, so that pretty much molded, you know, my ability to sing. And then, you know, going to school in Brooklyn, it's like I stuck out like a sore thumb.
I bet, yeah.
It's like crazy. But mad love, like one thing about it, the support, you know, from your people, is like is unmatched. You know, so I definitely get that hardcore Brooklyn love when you can take that and go anywhere.
For sure.
You know.
So you said it was Brooklyn where you found out that you wanted to do music. Why so?
I was going through a lot at the time, and I think that music is something that became a therapy for me. You know, my grandparents raised me, and you know, I had some childhood issues that I was dealing with, and just trying to find myself. And I think the best outlet, the only outlet that I had was music. You know, and I would write and I would sing, and it would just be me. And like even in school, I would be singing up and down the hallways. People would get sick of me, like, girl, when are you gonna just be quiet? Like, you know. But I just had this hunger, you know, and I had this love and this passion for it, and it became an escape, like in a sense.
Okay, I get that. I definitely get that. Talk about your first time recording. Do you remember that?
My first time recording. Wow. I was like maybe 14, something like that. Recording in a closet. That's where
the best music comes. The best music comes from the closet.
The closet tunes. Working with some very musical people. You know, people that play instruments like myself. I also play instruments.
Okay.
And you know, to be surrounded around true musicians like that really, like I said, it just kept nurturing my gift. You know, being amongst these folks, and you know, that energy, that synergy.
Right.
The records, I played some of the records that I did, and it's just like, oh, they're so raw. They're so raw. Like, no mix, no excess material to, you know, make that sound bigger. But, you know, you grow.
Of course.
You know, you got to take those steps. But I wouldn't trade those experiences for the world.
Who are some of the people that you grew up listening to?
I come from a soulful household, you know, of people, and Gladys Knight, Lena Horne, Marvin Gaye, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, the greats, you know, all the greats. I was born in '85.
Okay.
So a lot of the music, you know, back in those times was very soulful, you know, substance filled. Like I said, I started singing in church, so, you know, that kind of like, it correlates.
Right.
The list can go on and on and on and on and on.
For sure.
But
For sure. So talk about the church though, like how, because I know that's, I wanted to ask you this, like coming from the church, a lot of times they don't approve of, you singing outside music, like secular music.
That's good that you asked that.
Yeah.
Because I started singing in church at the age of 6.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that kind of that helped my confidence.
Right.
Because that church environment is family.
Mm-hmm.
So those people, they're not as hard or as critical. And then I was young, so it's like they don't boo you at the Apollo.
True.
When you're a kid.
Right.
And I was on the Apollo also.
Oh.
But I guess it's just one of those things where it's like nobody knows what your journey is gonna be, and I just chose to kind of broaden my horizon with music because at the time I was finding myself again, and I'm young. I don't know who I am, and so it's like it was just this natural succession of events. Really, there's no way to really explain it. It just happened.
Right.
Kind of with the secular thing. Just networking and, meeting people. It's like, back then, they didn't really have a broad spectrum for gospel.
Right.
You had your set, gospel artists established, but you didn't really have like young, new gospel artists breaking into the industry. So it was like secular music was like, okay, that's where the money's at.
Right.
That's how we were all thinking back then. I think. It's like, go where the money's at.
Right. No, I dig it. I had to ask though. You know what I mean? I'm just always curious. So just as a female though, just talk about finding yourself and just developing confidence. Talk about your journey with that.
It's a lifelong journey. I'm still growing and figuring it out. I thought I knew who I was when I was like 17, 18, getting a deal. It's like you think you know everything, and then you do those experiences, you start to realize like I don't know shit.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that becoming a mother really changed
I didn't
the
know
scope.
that. Okay.
Yeah, that really changed the scope for me. Gave me another sense of purpose. Because when you're young and you don't really have a sense of direction, things can kind of spiral out of control. And it kind of did spiral out of control. And it's like you kind of get clouded. And then you have to, the universe, if you don't do it by will, by force, the universe will send you something to humble you down and make you realize that this thing is bigger than you.
Facts.
So that definitely becoming a mother, and I love motherhood. Like motherhood is the greatest gift, because it's like I am not only responsible for myself, but I'm responsible for somebody else now. So I really gotta be on my P's and Q's now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's been the greatest lesson that you learned so far being a mom? Indirectly or directly?
The biggest lesson. It's funny because, you think you have patience, right? And then, when you have children, they show you yourself. It's like, oh damn, I don't have the patience that I thought I had. Like, okay, I'm sorry. And then you have to realize, like, you have to check yourself. They show you, they're a mirror. So for me, it's like, the biggest lesson is learning how to keep calm, and be open to everything, and not have this one-sided view.
And mom surprised me because there's so many times I messed up something in the house that I knew my mom was going to kill me. But for some reason, she didn't kill me. I might have got beaten or something, but in my head, I thought I was going to be dead. But like moms just kind of keep it moving. You know, like you just know as a mom, like shit's just going to happen. You just keep it moving. Or so many times I had to go to the hospital because I done did some dumb shit, and my mom would just just
like,
be there,
so
just
crazy.
keep it moving. Yeah,
It's this innate thing. It's like, yo, you just gotta roll with it.
Yeah, and yeah.
All right. So can you define what the word progress means to you? That's our name of our show, so we always like to ask people what progress means to them personally.
When I say progress, I break it up and I say progress. Because you proceed and you progress. You know, proceed like PROSEED. So it's like you sow this seed and then it starts to blossom.
True. Good point. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about this music though. Now we know you and Fab had a banger. You and Fab had a banger that was 05, right? Yes. Okay, so talk about that. Talk about, you know, just that, how did that come about, the feeling that
it's so crazy.
You know.
Like, just life is just funny, man. It's just one of those things. I would not have thought in a million years, me being from Brooklyn, that I would share a record with like a Brooklyn champ.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, because we cut the record. And I did a little research on y'all, and I saw that Black was in here.
Yes.
And Shamari Fears is actually the first voice that I heard on The One You Need.
Wow.
I'm the DJ.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
See?
That is crazy though.
And it blew me away. I was like, whoa, like this record is huge. So I cut the record, and it was one of those situations where they just sent it off. And when it came back, Fab was on it. I was like, wait a minute. Wow. You know, when he shouted me out, gave me the M Rizzo, and I'm like, okay, I like that. And, you know, we shot a video for it in Brooklyn. And it was just crazy. Like, that whole era. Like, it was just like, man, so many magical things. So many magical things were happening. And it was like, man.
I mean, talk about just, you know,
all this.
Let me see, what can I ask? Maybe just like, maybe a show, like a setting at a show, like just, you know, you and other artists around that time, like how did that feel? Like how was the energy in the building before cell phones? You know what I mean? Like I know people was probably way more engaged.
It was heavy.
Yeah.
It was so heavy. I remember doing a Black College tour with Bobby Valentino and Sharifa. And yo, like the energy and, you know, the engagement from everybody. It was just like, it was crazy. Like,
and people were interactive, where now it's like, it blew my mind because you're recording everything just for other people to see, but you're not really living it.
Fully
you know?
engaged.
But that energy,
in the moment.
In the moment, yeah.
In the moment. Present in the moment.
Absolutely, very important.
Most
and it's
definitely.
so hard though. It's hard to sometimes, you know, I tell myself that it's like, man, I want to put my phone down and it's like, damn, I want to capture this moment, but it's
did you
like
say you had a story to tell? Was there when he approached you, you said you had a story to tell?
So
About
many.
the Fabolous song, I think.
You were saying you had a story to tell about the Fabolous. I'm not sure what you were referring to.
I mean, it just it's man, this journey is lifelong.
So can you speak about a little bit after the Fab song and like
the Fab song, The One You Need, evolved into Floating, which was my second single. Neo wrote.
Dope.
And yeah, that evolved into Let Go, which was written by Sean Garrett. Hey,
Palmer.
And that was it. Like that Let Go was pretty much like a subliminal to me letting go of the label. You know, and it was so crazy because, you know, I went overseas and I saw the reaction from the people over there versus the people in America, and I'm just like,
what was it? What was the difference?
Man, it was 10 times, like it was amplified. I mean, like everybody's singing the lyrics, and
they might not even know English.
And it was crazy. Like, I just felt like, all this for me?
That's like a real expression you just did. You see it in your eyes, like, for real.
Do you still work with Dark Child?
No.
We work on a different kind of level now. You know, it's kind of like, you know, I send him records to kind of get his approval, you know, type stuff. But I do see us doing a project in the near future. It is in the works. And I mean, you know, when you make those kind of connections, they don't don't disappear.
And it's about timing too, you know what I mean? Sometimes, you know, Erykah Badu said this one time, they was asking her, why don't you put out, you know, an album more often? And she was like, nah, it ain't like that. You gotta go off the vibe, and it's the
Not
time
every
for
artist
things.
is, you know, I thought I was extroverted.
I'm the same way.
I just found out.
I'm an introvert too.
And then I started evolving, and you know, I realized that I'm really kind of shy.
Right, yeah.
I am. And sometimes it's like, oh, if they announce my name before I go on stage, it's like,
That's interesting that you said though.
it's like I want to be on stage first and start singing and then turn on the lights. It's a lot to deal with. It's a lot to deal with because I don't know if you ever saw the interview with Lauryn Hill when she was younger and she spoke at this school.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Like the depth of that. Like I felt her so much because I felt me. You know, and I was just like, okay, I don't know about all of this fame stuff. You know, it's kind of not my thing, to be honest.
I get it. I get what you're saying. It's unfortunate. It's like something so great comes with
It's
so
a
much
gift and
baggage that you don't even necessarily want to sign up for, you know? And I get it.
It's a gift and a curse.
Yeah, it's a gift and a curse for sure.
Have you heard Lauryn Hill's Unplugged album?
Heck yeah.
Like, that kind of talks a lot about how, like, you want to, like, just let go, like, with your soul and just sing from your heart, but then the whole industry fuck you over, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I said, let go was the... it's
subliminal.
Funny. It's so funny how the universe works, but you know, I had to walk away. I had to walk away because I felt like I really didn't know what I was doing on a business level.
That's real, yeah.
And it was like, you know, they wanted to shelf the project, and I was just, I was not happy with that.
Of course.
I was not happy with that because all that work,
and it's a lot of work,
you know, and all, like, the singles charted and, you know, the whole thing, and it's just like, okay, we're gonna shelf the project, and it's like, really? Okay. I gotta go.
True.
So, in saying that, how do you feel about, like, nowadays where you don't need a label? Do you feel like a little more freedom to do your own thing?
It's meant to be this way.
Right.
It's meant to be this way, you know, because you know, this is for a lot of us, this is all we know. You know what I'm saying? This is all we got, and it's like for somebody to want to control it to the point where you don't have any say. It's not cool. Input is good.
Absolutely.
You know,
yeah.
positive.
I get what you're saying.
You know, feedback, criticism, all of that is needed. You know, but if it's gonna modify who you are, truly,
Right.
then you gotta.
Like selling your soul a little bit.
Do you feel like if you stayed in the game, consistent in around 2005 that you would be the equivalent to Keisha Cole?
Huh?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. And a lot of people, you know, have and do compare me to Keisha. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Heck yeah. And you know, when I see Keisha in her
I'm
element,
not saying that.
I'm like, wow, like she reminds me of me, like a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, just you know, been through some things, but you can't really tell because you wear it well.
As
You
you're
know.
supposed to.
But
I'm saying because
it's
you
a
were in that
double-edged
era.
sword.
You
It's
were,
a double-edged sword. It really is because it's hard for me to say because those things had to happen for me to get to this point.
well, you were the new R&B at that time, so.
True. And it was a lot of us though. It was me. It was Tiara Marie. It was Sherry Dennis.
Yeah.
That era was lit.
It was lit.
Yeah.
That's some good
It was fun.
R&B.
It was. That was
like,
when
it
music
was
was
a
some
lot
good
of
shit.
us.
It was cute.
Yeah,
It was fun.
Christina
It was-
Milian was rocking.
Yeah.
It was plenty of us.
Yeah.
It's coming back too.
I feel a shift.
Yeah.
I do too. Yeah.
I feel a shift. And I think, you know, it's from everybody being who they truly want to be.
Absolutely.
In the music and not having all of these hands
Yeah.
damn fucking trying to infiltrate.
Yeah, and now you can't really tell somebody how to do it because there's so many different ways. Like I work with an artist right now, and she's like really big on the internet, and it's kind of hard to tell her like,
Get out there.
get out there
Yeah.
because you know you can really just blow up on the internet and
True.
be
Yeah.
so it's
Go
so
viral.
many
Yeah.
different ways to take off, you know,
so real.
which
so
is
many
dope.
doors. So many doors. That's why I love the climate. And you know, it's about building up and also about self-preservation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because we can go so hard and then the steam is just,
Right.
you know, it's like, where's the energy? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta pull back a little, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like the tortoise in the hare, you know?
All right. So I see you got a few tattoos. So you know, I
It's
got
tattoos.
Yeah.
Team light skin, you know.
Love them.
You know.
Love them.
So talk about you know, tattoos and its freedom of expression. What does it mean to you? Your tattoos.
Shoot. All my tattoos mean all my tattoos mean something. I have my sons
Okay.
first and middle praying hands tattooed on my hands.
Okay.
Thank God for my Austin Royal. And I got a diamond, of course, because I'm a diamond in the rough.
Okay.
And I think this was the latest one I got. Love Conquers
Ooh, I
All.
know that.
Oh, I was gonna say yes.
I stand by this. You know, it didn't really hurt.
It didn't?
It didn't really hurt, but you know, everybody's different.
Right. I saw a guy biting a belt when he was getting his tatted.
You said what?
Biting a belt. Like literally biting a belt.
Oh,
like
okay.
a belt that you wear.
Okay. You know, I'm like, what? Okay.
He was literally, it hurt that bad, he was biting a belt.
Oh, he was okay.
Like a belt that you wear, he was biting.
I
You
can
know, we
imagine.
got those trigger areas.
Yeah.
Word.
Like my foot.
You know,
Oh,
the
no, I heard
foot.
that foot ain't no hoe.
I stopped.
No
I just
hoe.
got the hell out.
I heard ain't no hoe.
Britt tatted up too now.
What's up?
Yeah.
what's up?
Look, word.
Once you pop, you can't stop.
Yeah, that is true. Everybody told me like once you get your first one, you're gonna want to keep doing
It's
it.
extreme. It's just like you just can't stop. But you know, as long as they meaningful.
I'm sleeving it up too.
Oh, word?
I got a half
Okay.
sleeve.
Okay, I wish we
got,
could see it. Okay, that's what's up.
Lotus and lilies.
So,
You know, symbolized transformation and you know, change, all that good stuff. Yeah, they all over. They
Word.
all over. I got 2 bowls on the back of my legs.
okay.
Yeah, I'm out here.
Man, we definitely enjoyed having this, conversation with you. We appreciate you coming through.
Yes,
I
yes.
appreciate y'all for real.
Absolutely. So what's coming up next? What's next?
So much in the works. I'm working on an album.
Nice.
I'm also writing for some other artists.
Okay.
I'm acting.
So
I mean, I'm doing a whole bunch.
You got another single too, don't you?
I do. Last year around this time, I came out with an EP
Okay.
called Insight.
okay.
4 song. I call it a combo pack. It's like a 2-piece, a biscuit,
Alright.
some mash on the side.
You did. Yeah, that New York came right out.
Yo, she
And
funny.
the project is dope. I actually did put it out on iTunes, but I yanked it back because I just felt like it's not about that. You know what I'm saying? It's about putting this content out, you know, and putting more content out. You know what I'm saying? Just put it out, you know, because that's where we at with it. And the project is crazy. It features producers like Jay Reed from Chevy Music, who just did the Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
The Coalition crew. They're also cool ass people.
Okay.
To tag them, my boys.
All right.
I got Said L on there. He's a fire ass producer. He's done everybody. T.I.
Word.
I mean, you name the Southern cats that
Gotcha.
reign. And it's just a overall substance filled project. You get a little variety. You get, you know, kind of like a trap vibe. Then you kind of get like a pop vibe. You get an R&B vibe. So it's a nice little blend.
Can we see you on Love and Hip Hop?
You know that's funny.
I can really see
Said
you on there.
that because I actually did go in for an interview.
Oh, really?
New York. They
Okay.
called me in.
I would have liked to see that.
Yeah,
And
me
I
too.
don't know. I don't think at that time I fit the storyline.
Okay.
But I did say to myself, if you know they called for me again here in the A, I'd probably consider it.
Mona, call her.
I was gonna say, look, I already know somebody
Call her, Mona.
actually. That's cool.
Just because I got history, you know,
Yeah,
a lot
this would be a good
Absolutely.
addition to that.
I agree.
lot of folks,
Yeah, definitely.
you know.
I can see in the green screen like, yo, I'm here, you know what I'm saying? You fine, you know what I'm saying? From New York, I'm in the A now. I'm doing my thing.
Erica Mena, you came from New York to Atlanta.
Oh, type shit.
Nah, you
Word.
can't be there.
Nah, that's what's up. Okay. So, I mean, we definitely look forward to, you know, hearing more and definitely seeing more and all that good
Absolutely,
stuff.